James Saltmarshall, 22, is accused of SA and killing his 8-month-old daughter, but he hysterically claimed in court that he never did anything to hurt his daughter. On April 20th, James called 911 in a panic, claiming he fell asleep while holding 8-month-old Jenya in his arms while watching a movie. He woke up with Jenya not breathing. First responders immediately rushed Jenya to the hospital, but she deceased from her injuries. Doctors gave a report indicating that Jenya had suffered SA and abuse, skull fracture, rectal damage, consistent with a foreign object inserted into the anus.
This never happened.
Saltmarshall, who wept uncontrollably during his last court appearance, will soon be a free man. Prosecutors say they need more time to investigate and gather forensic evidence, so the judge is releasing Saltmarshall on his own recognizance. Even his mother, who spoke exclusively with 7 Action News, doesn't agree with that decision.
This should not be taken lightly that he's out.
Saltmarshall was staying with the baby in this Inkster motel. He called 911 last week to say she fell, hit her head, and wasn't breathing. Investigators say she had injuries consistent with a sexual assault.
At times, we create monsters, and I may have created one of those monsters.
Saltmarshall says her granddaughter's mother, who has not been charged, was also staying in the same room. She was at work when Saltmarshall called for help and has since defended him on social media.
I'm not understanding the Bonnie and Clyde relationship. I don't understand it. And I think that both of them should be held until.
Saltmarshall's father declined to speak on camera, but confirmed his son will be released with a GPS tether. Saltmarshall must also avoid contact with children. His mother warns those conditions won't keep her son out of trouble.
If you tell him to go right, he's going to go left. He's not going to follow those rules.
Despite James's consistent claims of innocence, the police arrested him for murder and SA. Once the incident was reported, James was subjected to an avalanche of abuse and condemnation. 2 months later, however, events took a turn for the worse. The coroner determined that Jenya's deceased was actually a tragic accident. The rectal tear was actually just a tiny crack caused by constipation. Jenya's deceased was caused by accidental asphyxiation due to James holding Jenya in his sleep, consistent with James's testimony, and no brain damage was found, which is completely inconsistent with the doctor's conclusions in the lawsuit. The DA's office eventually dropped the charges against James, but the damage he suffered can never be repaired.
Not guilty of